Welcome back to another episode of Zim's Beer Review. I'm your host, Garrett Zimmer. Thank you for joining me, however you may be joining. Whether you're on YouTube live stream, if you're following on Twitter, if you're following on Twitch, or if you're following however you may get your podcast, thank you for tuning in. It means a lot that you guys tune in. I love the feedback that I'm getting from you guys, and I got another great episode for you tonight. So today we are actually continuing our series of the Mystery Brew Review. Today we have Mystery Brew Review number 2. If you're following on YouTube or on Twitch, you can see right here I have a mystery brew from my buddy Jason Shaver. Jason Shaver is the mastermind behind Shaver Wood, and he's the one who makes my bottle opener. He makes tons of different stuff. One of my upcoming episodes, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that he's made me and sent me over the years. He is fantastic. I highly recommend you guys check him out for anything. Or if you just follow online and you want to get a bottle opener like I have, he's your guy. Give him a shout. But he's the guy behind the Mystery Brew Review. Got to give him a huge shout out. He sent me this bottle. If you're following, you can kind of see he clearly had a rough time getting the label off of this beer. He sent me what I thought was the label in an envelope, as usual right here. It looks like it's 2 envelopes taped together. In our first Mystery Brew Review, the label looked like it came off the bottle really cleanly. This one looks like he had kind of a tough time, so I'm interested to see what's inside of this envelope here. Whatever it may be, I think it's probably the answer to what we're about to try. So we're going to jump right into this. We got a Mystery Brew Review number 2 coming at you, and we're going to use his bottle opener and see what we got. Based on the color of the bottle, it's brown. Can't tell a whole lot from it at all. Clearly there was a little bit of a hint, I'm going to guess, on top of the bottle. The cap, he has taped over the cap. I do not know what was underneath it. Once we review it a little bit and we open up our envelope, I'm going to tear that tape off to see what he covered up. But right now we have no idea what we're about to try. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, pour it into one of our little glasses over here and see what we got. So here we go. Open it up. Definitely got carbonation. Had a lot of it on that. I'm going to set this cap right here to the side and see what we got. Okay. So we're going to pour this right in. Really deep brown in color as I'm pouring this. Super deep brown. Not what I expected. I don't know what I expected from this. This is, just judging on the color, this looks like an amber. It's really deep and brown. It might even be darker brown than an amber might be. This is approaching maybe a brown ale. Like, if any of you are familiar with like Newcastle, that's kind of what this color is looking like. It's deep and brown, looking like a brown ale. We're going to give this a scent here, see what we get. I'm really not getting a lot of nose on this. It smells a little bit sweet if I really dig for it. It's like, I want to say this is a brown ale. It does smell. It smells like I would expect a brown ale to smell. I don't know how I got to that. Maybe it's just my gut feeling. I can't describe how that smells. Maybe like a deep nutty flavor. It's like, that's a tough one. I got to give this a try before I'm going to lose my mind trying to figure out what this is. Okay. I feel like I've had this before. This is definitely a brown ale. Let me give this another try. It is, it's got a nutty flavor to it, 100%. This is a brown ale. No doubt about it. The coloration leads me to that. The smell kind of leaded me to that, but then once I taste it, I'm definitely getting a brown ale on this. Not sure what it could be. I do not think it's Newcastle. Mainly the bottle itself doesn't look like a Newcastle bottle. It tastes a little nuttier than a Newcastle does, but it has a similarity to Newcastle. If any of you are familiar with how that tastes, it has that brown ale flavor. Oh, this is a tough one. I feel like I've had this. Before. I got to give this another try. I'm super intrigued by this. I'm definitely getting a nutty flavor. I don't think it's peanuts. I don't think it's peanut butter, but I'm definitely getting a nutty flavor on this, and I can't put my finger on it. I have to say this is a brown ale, and I think it's a nutty brown ale. I have nothing else to say, but maybe I don't think it's peanut butter, but I do feel like it has peanuts. It has a nuttiness to it. As weird as that may sound, that's how it tastes. And after I taste it, that scent is really there. There's something here that I'm definitely familiar with, and I cannot put my finger on it. I do think I've had this in the past, but maybe it's my mind messing with me. This is really fooling me out. This mystery brew, it is a very delicious beer. It has really great flavor for a brown ale. If that's what this is, it has really great flavor. Yeah, I'm going to have to open up this envelope and see what this is. This is killing me. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. Full disclosure, my buddy who sent me this has informed me that there's information inside this envelope as well as information inside of an email that he sent me. And I have my email open on my computer, but I have not yet clicked on the email. He said there's information in that. But beyond that, he couldn't tell me much. So I have it ready to open, but I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this envelope and see what we got. So let's see what we have here. We're opening it up. We have definitely cardboard in here. Something. Okay, I think that's all we got here. Okay, open it up. We have Rogue Hazelnut Brown Nectar. There it is. Right there, if you're following on YouTube or on Twitch, you can see on the screen we have hazelnut brown nectar from Rogue Brewing. Rogue Brewing is one of my absolute favorite breweries. I've been to their distillery and their tap room multiple times. They're in Newport, Oregon. He sent me this. We're from Oregon, and I think he sent me this because he knows my love for Oregon beers. Rogue Beer, I can't say enough about them. They're one of my absolute favorite breweries, and not to mention just the beer they make. Me and my wife have been to their tap room / restaurant multiple times on our trips out to Oregon, and Rogue Brewery actually has some of the best food I have ever had anywhere in my life. If you ask me one of my top favorite restaurants in the entire world, I will say Rogue Brewery. It is amazing food out there, and their beer is great. And now that I've tasted their beer and I see what this is, that's the nuttiness I was tasting. It had to be that hazelnut. I should have guessed. I could not put my finger on it, but I knew it was a brown ale. I nailed that, and I did know that there was some sort of a nut in there. I said peanut, but now that I know that it's hazelnut, it's like, oh yeah, duh. I should have known. Yep, after tasting it, it's so obvious. I should have known that. We're going to go ahead and hang that up right here on our behind us here. I don't have any pins on me right now, but we'll hang that up behind us for further episodes. That'll be there. So let's go ahead and open up this email. Now that we know what it is, let's see what it is. Okay. Yep. Okay. The email is just a link to Rogue's website, pointing me right in the direction of hazelnut brown nectar. 100%. Should have known. hazelnut brown nectar. I've had this multiple times. I was so close to trying to make this as a homebrew. I looked into recipes for it, and the tough part was trying to get the hazelnut flavor, and I actually strayed away from wanting to pursue trying to make it as a homebrew simply for that reason. Trying to get the hazelnut flavor into my homebrew, it just seemed a little bit daunting. I wasn't sure how to do it. I didn't know if I could nail it down, but I've had this in the past. I love this beer. I love Rogue, like I said, and I wanted to make this as a homebrew, and I never did. Maybe I should. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is a sign that I need to make this as a homebrew. So I'll look into it again. I'll revisit the homebrew hazelnut brown nectar clone and see if I can make it again. We'll see. So clicking on his link here, it takes me right to rogue.com. If you're interested, go to rogue.com. It's ROGUE rogue.com. And they're in Newport, Oregon. Hometown to me, back near where I grew up. They make great beers. The hazelnut brown nectar is one of their highest award-winning beers. They have won awards with this exact beer dating back to 2001. This won the U.S. Beer Tasting Championships, and it was the grand champion in 2001, 2002, 2003, and then again in 2007. Beyond that, they had Best of the Year in probably 7 or 8 different years from 2005 to 2012. They've won awards at the Great American Beer Festival, which we mentioned on a previous episode. If you remember that, we mentioned I want to say it was Anchor Brewing. They were the ones who had the award at the Great American Beer Festival. They've won awards in the Hong Kong International Beer Festival, the Beer Fest Asia, Great International Beer Festival, World Beer Championships, Bacon and Beer Classic. I didn't even know that was a thing. World Beer Championships, Great International Beer and Cider Competition. This took first place in 2016. They haven't changed this beer. It just keeps winning awards. It's a really, really smooth beer. If you're interested in brown ales, or maybe you don't know what brown ales taste like, it's not a really hoppy beer, but it is more on the craft brew side. If you're used to the light beers, this would be a brown ale would be a really good transition into craft brew. It's really soft on the palate, really smooth going down. It doesn't have a bite. It's not a hard alcohol content. I wish I had the label on my bottle. I'd tell you the alcohol content on this. I don't have that information. But I would guess this is right around maybe 4.5%, 5%. It can't be too high. Really smooth beer. Highly recommended if you're trying to transition from just your everyday average Coors Light, Bud Light into craft beer. This would be a really good transition beer. It's sweet. It has that hazelnut flavor. It feels, or it tastes like you mixed, I don't know if you've had them before, a Ferrero Rocher. I don't know if I'm saying that right. A Ferrero Rocher. It's like a hazelnut covered chocolate candy that's wrapped in gold wrapping. It's like a little ball. That's what this tastes like. If you mixed that with a brown ale, like that mixed with a Newcastle with a brown ale, really smooth, that's kind of what this tastes like. Really smooth beer, really easy drinking. You could drink this all night long. It's not heavy. It's not high on alcohol content. If it is, it's 100% fooling me. I don't have that information in front of me right now. Usually I do. Usually it's printed right on the bottle, but in this case I don't have it because we're doing a mystery brew. So highly recommend this. And if you're anyone in the area of the Rogue Brewery, anywhere near Oregon, I recommend you check them out. I will try and get their address here. I know they're in Newport. If you're anywhere near Newport, I recommend checking them out. I've been there multiple times. They have tons of different beers. They have beers. They have sodas. They have ciders. They even have recently branched out into making spirits. They make rum. I want to say they make vodka and whiskey as well. They make some really good beers up in Rogue. And this was a really fun beer review. This was a perfect beer for a mystery brew. It was like, if I had told him what to give me, this would have been on the list. I didn't tell him, this was totally random, but this is a super deep flavor, really rich, really sweet in flavor. That hazelnut makes it almost taste like candy. Really, really good beer. I highly recommend it. I can't say enough good things about Rogue. They're from my home state of Oregon, so got to give them props there. And big shout out to Jason at Shaverwood for hooking us up tonight for our mystery brew review number 2. If I can spit that out, enough rhyming words in one sentence there. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for hooking us up. And I was so close to nailing this one. If I was going to guess any of them, I should have guessed this one. I got brown ale, and I even nailed it down to having a nutty flavor, and I couldn't guess the hazelnut brown nectar. But what do you do? I'm going to get one of these days. I'm going to brew review number 3. I'm nailing it. That's the one. I'm going to guess it. You keep an eye out. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for following. I love that you guys follow. I love the feedback I'm getting from you guys. I'm over 200 followers on Twitter. Thanks to you guys. This podcast is slowly growing, and thank you. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Zim's Beer Review. If you want to send me an email, you can get a hold of me at zimsbeerreview@gmail.com. And if you want to follow the live stream or follow up on the video episodes of these and actually see the bottles and see what we're working with, check out YouTube. You can follow us at Zim's Beer Review. We're also on Twitch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, happy drinking.